This is from my book, Why Pop Music Sucks. This has to do with the 1996 Telecommunications Act. The 1996 Telecommunications Act is the reason why America doesn't have good radio stations anymore. The 1996 Telecommunications Act was signed by President Bill Clinton with the enthusiastic support of Vice President Albert Gore. The legislation changed the entire structure of our everyday TV and radio experiences. Ever wonder why radio stations are horrible? Why classic rock and roll stations play the same playlists ad nauseum over and over? Why do middle school, high school, and college students not know anything about the importance of 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s pop music? The 1996 Telecommunications Act has everything to do with that. What existed before the 1996 telecommunications debacle was the 1934 Telecommunications Act, all the way back then, which prohibited corporations, large companies, from owning more than one media entity, network, or station, and they were also prohibited from owning cross-media platforms. It was very restrictive because it was meant to foster ownership diversity, per their words. That is why radio stations were so awesome for all generations that existed up until late 90s, right? I mentioned the impact in a previous video for the 70s, where radio was a way for young folks to learn about pop music. Stations would feature disc jockeys or hosts that were very knowledgeable about what they were presenting. It was pop music school for all of us. They would encourage everyone to call in and request tunes to play. Anything, right? Most radio personalities would play cuts from current top-selling records that were not singles or the most popular cuts, right? It was album-oriented radio, okay? And especially up until the 80s, some would play bootlegs and stuff that would be deemed illegal to play and promote, but they would do it. The overall socioeconomics within American culture have changed to the point where this particular aspect of our lives has evolved into a footnote. Hardly any have even noticed. It went under the radar, most likely due to all the digital technologies and things that have taken over our lives since the 80s. Okay? I would say that the good old days are so far removed from our current lives that most of us don't even care all that much about it. There are so many problems to navigate through, so, it'd be kind of like way low on the list of any sort of concern, right? So there you go. If you would like to learn more, check out my book, Why Pop Music Sucks. You can get it on my website, of course. The ebook has to be purchased through Amazon, but if you want to print a copy with my signature on it, got to go through the website, okay?